What is happening, savages? You are listening to Immortal Coil, your future minister of whiskey mysticism. Revolution is my name. It is 6:51 on the West Coast, Wednesday, June 23rd, 2021, and it is time to get savage. What the fuck is up, people? How you doing? How you living? We got our old faithful Taylor M hanging out in the chat. Hail, Taylor. What is up, my friend? And we're going to go ahead and remind everybody that this is not a show for the kiddies. Put your kids to bed unless you're okay with them hearing fuck words and savagery. I'm going to go ahead and hold high my beverage of choice. Encourage you guys to do the same. And our cheers. Here's to us. What's like us? Not a goddamn thing. Hey, also joining us, we have Tommy and the Guinea Pig Collective, the hardest working mod in the fandom menace. Tommy is easily mod to 96 million channels and going, and he never misses a broadcast, people. It's some craziness, but that's some dedication, and that is what qualifies you to be savage. Engage in savagery with us, shall you people? Well, the fuck's everyone doing? I've been all right. I seem to be on an injury streak at work lately. Construction is a dangerous job. What can I say? You have power tools flying at your face. You're dangling on trusses trying to support said power tools as you're playing bat to the belfry. And every now and then something comes back to try to fuck back with you. I got this very nice drill mark. I tried to bounce a drill off the side of my face. And it's just one of those things. I'm glad that chicks dig scars. I called my girl right afterwards and I was like, hey, so you dig scars, right? And she's like, what'd you do? So, I kind of did one of these things. And then I got myself today with a saw. So there you go. Bleeding for my craft. How was that going? Yeah, it's some fucked up shit. Normally it's a 4-man crew. We were down to 2 men this week because acts of gosh, acts of flying spaghetti monster, whatever your higher power may be. And then my good buddy, he actually is a paintball dude, and he is going to Pennsylvania to partake in some national qualifiers, I believe. I call him my work wife. We're those kind of people. He's kind of like a little brother, kind of like a good friend, and kind of like a somebody to look up to in certain ways. But yeah, he's jumping on a plane. He's fucking flying out. I'm just like, what the fuck, man? What do you think's gonna happen? And he goes, I don't know, and he's one of those super fucking sociable people. It's easy to be sociable when you're on a microphone or when you're making a video, because you can say whatever the fuck you want. And for all intents and purposes, I mean, I know the savages that show up and listen to this, and I can say anything to you guys. But for the most part, you're staring at the wall and you're just trying to think of like witticisms to dole out on your adoring public. But this is a dude who could just go anywhere and bullshit with anybody. I'm like, well, how the fuck do you do that? And he goes, well, it's really simple. You just pick something stupid and not give a fuck what the answer is going to be. And sometimes you just have to, roll with it. And I was like, well, what do you mean? And he goes, well, I was behind a lady in the grocery store the other day and she was buying something and she had her ID out and it said her birthday was November 11th. And he goes, "Oh, get out of town. My birthday is November 11th." And she went, "Really?" And he went, "No." But then they just laughed about it. And I was like, "Oh, I can't do that." Cause, like I get in a grocery store and especially like when I have shit like this going on, I'm sitting there, I'm like waiting for my, can you just like work that conveyor belt and just give me that shit that I bought, the shit that I'm waiting for. Thanks. And they're like, "How's your day going?" I'm like, "Pretty good." Like, pretty good. So, I want to be a social mammal, but as it is, like I went somewhere the other day completely covered in filth and crap. Not actual crap, but the kind of crap that accompanies a construction job. And I was surrounded by people who are actually like, they had bathed, they had put on clean clothes, they were ready to be in public. And I was like, this is just how it is. Like, if you demand my presence in public, I will try to comply, but you might see a filthy bastard, a filthy savage. I'm not quite pigpen level, but I I wear my work on me at times. You know, what can you fucking do? Um, so I'm like, so you're gonna be to my work wife. I'm just like, you're gonna be flying. You're gonna be like in the, you know, airports. You're probably gonna get like felt up by the security agencies. They're gonna try to see if you're hiding explosives in your butthole. And he's like, what do you do? I'm like, so what happened? And he goes, well, last time I flew, I was waiting in line and I struck up a conversation with this guy. And he goes, well, where are you from? And my work wife answers, he goes, I'm from Washington. Well, I'm originally from the East Coast, but I'm living in Washington State now. And he goes, oh shit, okay, I've lived in Washington. What city? Blah blah blah. And then he goes, well, what do you do? And he goes, my work wife goes, well, I'm a plumber. I do new construction plumbing. We go to houses that aren't ready yet, and then we drill holes and we lay pipe. And the guy he's talking to goes, "Oh, get out of fucking town. I'm a plumber," and blah blah blah. And then they started talking about plumbing shit, which I would love to talk to you guys about. But aside from jokes about drilling holes and laying pipe, it's probably not that funny to talk about the technicalities of plumbing. We don't deal with shit. At least that's a service side. We're new construction. But it reminded me of this like joke that I heard, and it's like one of the best jokes I've ever fucking heard. And just the way the guy was going like, "Oh, you're from there, get out of town. Oh, you're a plumber, what the fuck?" One of the funniest jokes I've ever heard. And it's an Irish joke. It's an Irish joke. It goes something like this. It says, two men were sitting next to each other at Murphy's Pub in London. After a while, one bloke looks at the other and says, "I can't help but think from listening to you that you're from Ireland." The other bloke responds proudly, "Yes, that's I am." The first one says, "Well, so am I. And whereabout from Ireland might you be?" The other bloke answers, "I'm from Dublin, I am." The first one responds, "So am I." "Mother Mary and Begorra, what street do you live on in Dublin?" The other bloke says, "A lovely little area it was. I lived on McCleary Street in the old central part of town." The first one says, "Faith, and it's a small world. So did I, so did I. And to what school would you have been going?" The other bloke answers, "Well, now I went to St. Mary's, of course." My Irish is running away. I want to be Scottish in this joke, but I can't. It's Irish. The other bloke answers, "Well, now let's see. I graduated in 1984. The first one exclaims, "Good Lord, must be smiling down upon us. I can hardly believe our good luck at winding up in the same place tonight. Can you believe it? I graduated from St. Mary's in 84 my own self." About this time, Vicky Vicky, the waitress, walks up to the bar and sits down and orders a drink. Brian, the barman, walks over to Vicky, shaking his head. He goes, "It's going to be a long night, Vic." Vicky says, "Why do you say that, Brian?" And he goes, "The Murphy twins are drunk again." I fucking love that joke. Now I was reading it, so I don't read jokes as good as I tell them. But there was actually a few finer details that I would have neglected. Like, I'm not that good with Irish geography because, like every other American who drinks on St. Patrick's Day, I've never been to Ireland. I've drank Irish Death. I've had Guinness. I've had Harp. I've had whiskey with no E in it, but I've never been to Ireland. And I've heard stories. If you go to Ireland and you go and you order Guinness, they'll beat your ass, or at least they'll try. If you can throw down with them, they'll probably respect you. But yeah, you ultimate tourist move right there. So I told my work wife that joke. He fucking died laughing. He loved it. I was like, "Yeah, you know what I like to do when I'm flying?" And he goes, "Well, what?" And I say, I like to pretend I have I'm from Scotland, because I could do a pretty good Scottish brogue. You sit down and you're like, "Aye, what the fuck? Where are we flying to? We're gonna get on this little airplane. We're gonna go flying now." And you sit down. You're probably sitting next to another American. "I'm flying back home. I'm flying off to visit me uncle. Then I'm flying back home." They're like, "Well, what do you think of America?" I like America all right, but some of the people I'm not quite sure about. And they're like, "Well, what do you mean?" "Okay, I met this American the other day, and he's like, I would like a hamburger and a low-fat latte." And I was like, "What the fuck, man?" So that's the joke, is like, I'm doing the accent and I'm pretending I'm not Scottish, but then I can switch to American, and then everybody would be like, "Yeah, your American accent's pretty good. You're pretty good." A work wife's dying, and I'm like, "Yeah," and you should even take it one step further. You're sitting there talking, and I'm obviously a white guy. You're sitting there talking like Scottish. They'll be like, "Well, I'm just in America visiting my uncle. Then I'm heading back home." And they're like, "Oh, you're Scottish. Which part of Scotland are you from?" I'm from Japan. I'm originally from Japan." And they'll be like, "A Scotsman from Japan?" I'll be like, "Aye." They'll be like, "Well, which part of Japan are you from?" And I'll be like, "I'm from Japan City." Japan fucking City. And then that's like when you're ready to expose the fact that you're full of shit. So when you start saying stuff like Japan City. Where's Japan City? I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it got blown up in World War II. Japan City. Holy shit. Right on. Let's see. Let's see what the fucking chat's up to. Tommy was nibbling the wires, or Tommy's babies, Tommy's precious pets, nibbling the wires early to prevent it from starting on time. Yeah, that happens. Usually when I get home, like I like to get home and set up maybe like 45 minutes to an hour before my podcast, because I have news articles. Some of them are going to be about the same shit everyone else bitches about, but this is just a savage perspective. But some of them are actually like real articles, like shit that accredited news outlets have published to the public, and those things take time. But also because invariably, if you go to a news website, you're going to be blasted by ads, and I need time to shut all that shit down so that Nabisco isn't going to be face fucking you as I'm trying to read something cultured and intelligent with like a multi-syllabic article. I'm going to start a band and call it Black Syllabith. Okay. Taylor M says, "I was put on the pick today, so I had a lot of boxes coming up and trying not to screw up the sort." Dude, Tommy, I was a picker for a little bit. I had a temp job in the port of Tacoma, and I worked for this company that makes stationery. And it was really simple. Like we had a conveyor belt, and you had a box, and you were supposed to put together certain things to certain boxes in a certain way with a certain quantity. And I did that. Okay, it was great. And then they were like, okay, cool. So you've gotten that down. We're going to show you how to go and grab the boxes now to put on the conveyor belts. And then they showed me the areas, and I went and did that. And then they were like, you're doing good at that. So now we're going to show you how to put the shit onto the cart to take to the area where the guy will take it and put it on the conveyor belt. So I had like all these jobs going, and it was pretty good. But then winter happened. I was hoofing it because I was not driving at the time because I was a retard and lost my driving privileges. And I slipped on a patch of ice and smacked my fucking eyeball into a cement curb. Yeah. Dying for the craft, right? If you're ever doubting your conviction to your job as a picker, ask yourself if you would take a cement curb to the fucking eye just to make sure that your items get filled. Yeah. It's a wild, wacky world. Tommy again says, yeah, I damn near crippled myself trying to sort through all these damn crates. My work is not even close to being done. Dude. And I don't know if you're talking like professionally, because I know there's other reasons for sorting through shit. And whether you're doing it personally or professionally, sorting through shit sucks. Categorizing shit, unless you're getting paid for it, is just a fucking hassle and a half. Which you have that choice to make. Do I want to be an organized prick or a lazy prick? I don't know. What kind of prick do you want to be? That's something that they ask every little boy in grade school. They're like, we're going to teach you everything we know, the subtotal of humanity, so you can decide for yourself what kind of prick you want to be. You have high aspirations sometimes. You want to be the pick at the front of the pack, the pecking order, the pecking order, prick a peck of pickled pears, something like that, a prickled prick, pickled prick. It's just a little pinprick, as Pink Floyd says. Tommy also says, I don't think I've ever seen a more confused looking Wolverine. Dude, grocery store conveyor belts will do that to you. Logan would get fed up and probably smash shit. That's actually my favorite scene from Logan, is when Laura's in there, eating Pringles and drinking fucking juice or whatever the fuck. I think she was drinking like a Four Loko or something. Well, she should have been. And the dude's like the pussy looking motherfucker. He's like, hey, you got to pay for that shit, right? And she's trying to duck out of the store. But then he's like, all right, give me that shit. And she fucking does a judo throw on him and she's about to face fuck him. And Logan comes in and goes, you can't just steal shit. And then he's like, where's the smokes and the fucking chargers? Yeah. And then he steals shit. Love that movie. Not always happy with James Mangold, but he did good that time. Yeah. Taylor says, get those pipes clean. Yes, sir. If you don't get them clean, there's a buildup and a backlash. We got Snow Dub in the house. What is up, my frozen friend? We'll be getting into it a little bit later, and I know everybody likes to go live during the Savage show, so I'm sure Snow's going to be bouncing around until he realizes that this is the best show to listen to at this hour. But yeah, that thing that I sent in the DM, we're going to be covering that. Snow Dub is a snowman, and we just found out that Snow White is actually going to be Snow Brown. Details to come. Right, everybody's digging the Scottish Snow Dub. Yes, I did say pecker. There was a pecker in there. There was a hidden pecker. If you can spot the hidden pecker, you might get to suck it. If not, you can just stand back and admire it. It's like, have you guys ever seen those? There's like this Japanese island where it's just nothing but revering cocks. There's like giant stone dick statues, and I think like in the summertime or something, there's the Dick Festival where people go and just they put on Karate Kid headbands and they go and they stand around and like admire these gigantic stone penises. It's insane. I forget what the name of the fucking ceremony is, but it's not bukkake. It's not bukkake, but it's a serious, like, it's a holiday in this fucking island, and if you're into that sort of shit, because Japan is into most sort of shits, you can go and hang out with the giant stone dicks. Yeah, giant stone dicks. Only on Snow Turd. I don't know, man. If you're not careful, Snow Dub will come and shit on your car. I've seen him do it. You know, that we come out, you're like, what the fuck is on my car? He's gonna come and get in your face and be like, oh, and then he's gonna fucking roast you. He'll rhyme, he'll embarrass you. You're like, you're sitting there getting cut down, embarrassed by Snow Dub and Burst, just murdered, and you have a turd on your car. That's what happens when you fuck with us. That's what happens when you fuck with Trans Fat, with Gender Check, with the Cotton Connection. We will come and shit on your car and rap in your face. Yes, we will. All right. What's happening, you guys? This is Immortal Coil. Now on with the show. I do like to sort of warm up to the main event. So here we go. I found this thing. Jeff Bezos is going to outer space. Jeff Bezos is one of Amazon's founders. I think he was the one that got divorced with, and his wife took half his money for nothing, for not doing anything. But he's going to space, and apparently tens of thousands of people are signing a petition online to say that Jeff Bezos, you go to space and you fucking stay there. We don't want you back. You stay fucking out there. You go and you never come back. You go and you never come back. Jeff Bezos, here he is, like he's bald. He looks he's trying to do his best James McAvoy, Days of Future Past. He's holding the invisible plum on his thumb. He's plum dumb. And he's going like, yeah, I'll go to space, but you don't want me to come back? Don't you guys love me? I don't think we do, man. I mean, it's like, it's very convenient to go on Amazon when you're fucked up and you're ordering like shit that sounds good in your head, and you might even forgot what you ordered until it shows up at your door and you're like, oh, okay, this reverse osmosis fucking automatic fur-lined sink. All right, I'm gonna put this next to my potato peeling attachment for my lawnmower, which I'll never use. Either that, or you actually make a list of shit you want, and when you go and you go to order it, I mean, you can order electric fur-lined sinks all day, but you want like a pair of pants or some shoes, and they're like, nah, we're not gonna have any of those for like at least 6 months. I can't believe you're ordering shoes right now at the peak of shoe season. We don't have enough little Chinese kids making shoes for you. You know, we'll send you we'll send you like a what do they use in the jungle? We'll send you like a we'll peel a cactus and we'll send you the squishy side, and you can attach a thong to it. You can walk around in that until you know. Yeah. Jeff Bezos. You know what's really weird is I've read that every NASA launch has been followed by UFOs. And I don't blame aliens for checking out what the fuck we're doing, because they see more than you realize. Aliens probably watch us every day. We're sending out, okay, you're an intelligent race and you're gauging this planet and you're like, okay, these little guys are running around. They were wearing fur a couple thousand years ago and whacking each other with bones and stones. Uh, let's go down there and build some pyramids. Let's teach them how metal works, and then we'll leave. We'll see what they do. And then they're gone for a couple thousand years, and the first thing they see is like Jersey Shore. They're like, what the fuck is this? And they're like keeping up the Kardashians. They're like, what the fuck is this? Jeff Bezos is going out in the universe and UFOs are following him around going like, this guy, why are they sending this guy to space? What does he do? He lets people order shit. Okay. Shit they don't need. This guy is in space because he lets people buy shit they don't need. Okay. All right. I guess we'll keep him. The aliens, I guess we'll keep him. Jeff Bezos. Taylor says Jeff will get a Martian wife, but he ends up being the wife. He will. Jeff will always say the customer must be fulfilled. Is Jeff going to be the one trying to fill the customer with gender fluid? You're gonna get Bezos. Okay. So since Bezos made the announcement about his journey to space this month, tens of thousands of people have come together to petition against his return to the planet. There are multiple petitions out there, but the front runner, Do Not Allow Jeff Bezos to Return to Earth, has collected more than 33,000 signatures. All right, I got to check this fucker out. Yeah, look at this. Not Lex Luthor, motherfucker. 113,000 have been signed. Let's get this to 150,000. I bet it would be if Ethan Van Sciver were talking about this. Ethan Van Sciver is able to say like the name of anything that needs a certain amount of numbers and people will just do it. I wish I could do that. Change.org. This petition becomes one of the top signed on change.org at 150,000. So change.org, billionaires should not exist on Earth or in space, but should they decide the latter, they should stay there. Okay. All right. I think I'm going to sign this. First name is Mortal. Last name is Coil. Email is fuck yeah at savage.com, which is a completely made up thing. Can you chip in $3 to get this petition on the agenda? I'm not going to spend $3 to send a billionaire to space, but I will do that. So, all right. Goodbye. Good riddance. Farewell. Sayonara. See you the fuck later. That is silly. That is silly. Okay. Yeah, Jeff Bezos. It's fucked up that you can go to space just like that, because you're a billionaire. It's going to be really fucked up pretty soon is all these OnlyFans girls who make money for like showing their butthole to people. They're going to be rich enough to go to outer space themselves. They're going to go up and try to show their butthole to aliens. And aliens won't know what to do about that. They're like, well, this human seems to be proud of her anus. Human males seem to agree. Yeah, let's send her to space. I don't know what would happen if one of us went to space. I think if one of us went to space, we would show them our space balls, wouldn't we? Space balls. We'd sing the song. We'd be like, watch out. We'd write a space on the left one and balls on the right one because we know that we're going to be bending over and showing it. So it has to be legible. Space balls. Watch out. Yeah. Just have to watch out for the Klingons around Uranus. Speaking of Star Trek, we had some rather sad news coming in here. Joanne Linville, who played a Romulan commander in the original Star Trek series, dies at 93. I have to picture her with ears and with black hair. Joanne Linville was actually quite good looking when she was younger. Joanne Linville, who is best known for playing a Romulan commander in Star Trek, died Sunday in Los Angeles. Her agent confirmed a Variety. She was 93. Born in Bakersfield, California, as Beverly Joanne Linville, she was the first female actor to play a Romulan in the Star Trek franchise. Linville was a fixture on television from the 50s to the 80s, appearing in over 100 film and TV shows. So there she is with Leonard Nimoy, the Enterprise incident. It is interesting that they say she is the first female Romulan, which is true. The first Romulan ever depicted was Mark Leonard, who went on to play Spock's father, Sarek. But I remember this episode. It was pretty good. Kirk and Spock go undercover as Romulans to try to steal the Romulan cloaking device and take it back to the Federation so that they could reverse engineer it or whatever the fuck they did. Joanne Linville was quite taken with Spock, of course, as most people were. And Spock had to basically like lead her on. And I think, I'm not quite certain, you'll have to let me know if you've seen this episode, you in the chat or let me know in the comment section. I'm pretty sure that part of Spock's duty in this regard was like he had to dick down the Romulan commander. He had to Spock her. There was a part where Spock told her his name, his first name. He's like, I am called, and she goes, I am called, and then they went and fucked. You didn't think Spock could fuck? Oh yeah, he could fuck. It's logical. He only needs to fuck once every 7 years, but he can fuck whenever he wants to. It's fucking crazy. Star Trek. That's like real Star Trek too. That's not Discovery puke Trek. That's not, that this is Star Trek before J.J. Abrams got a hand of it, before Alex Kurtzman got a hand on it. That's real Trek. That's Gene Roddenberry. That's DC Fontana. All those people. Real good Trek. So, Joanne Linville, rest in peace wherever you are. Watch out for Bezos. Yeah. We'll drink to that. Some crazy shit. I actually watched a Leonard Nimoy documentary on Netflix. It's called For the Love of Spock. It was pretty good. If you're into Star Trek or, give a shit about any of that, it's a really good thing. It was actually made by his son. His son's name Adam. So you get like the history of the Spock character, and then you get an insight into Leonard Nimoy's personal life a little bit. Leonard Nimoy wrote a lot of books. I've actually read quite a few of his books. He's an interesting fellow. I followed him on Instagram. And that last fucking thing he wrote about like the flowers and the garden and all that stuff. Like I remember when it fucking happened. It was a trip. I first started watching Star Trek. Just like Star Wars, my dad sat me down. He's like, watch this, boy. And I was like, what the fuck is this, Dad? And yeah, I swore back then. I was like, what is this, Dad? And he goes, it's called Star Trek. And at the tender age of 6, I was like, this is the most boring fucking thing I've ever seen. When I was 12 or 13, I started watching The Next Generation, and I finally started to get it. I started to really like it. And back in the 90s, the Sci-Fi Channel on cable TV, you guys remember that shit? They remastered the original series, and they showed them in order. during one summer, and I think it was like 97 or 98, something like that. I watched them all, fucking dug it, started reading books, started getting like dorkishly nerdy about it, to the point where I can recite some lines from Star Trek. Yeah. Horta, here's a who. Yeah. Right on. Taylor saw it too. Spock, the real man to ladies. Yep. Romulans got Spocked. And he said it was a great documentary. It made me cry. It was a beautiful story. I thought so too, man. I didn't, I guess I got a little choked up at the end when they started talking about him dying. They showed this thing where he went to, they had a memorial service for him, like a public sort of thing in the desert, and they burned a bunch of shit. And it was kind of like I don't know, like the kind of like the end of Return of the Jedi where they burned Vader's armor, but it was like it was Spock. Spock. Like in the end of Wrath of Khan when he's dying, you're like, oh fuck, Spock can't die. And then like Spock went and died. And he died in real life. Yeah, it's a trip. Tommy says he watched Star Trek before Star Wars even came out. Those would have been the days. I was not quite alive back then. I was born between Empire and Jedi, so yeah, I'm the youngster, the young old age of 40, which officially places me in the category of old white bigot, right? Is that the truth? I think so. That's what I've learned. Yeah. And it's really weird. So like in the documentary, Leonard Nimoy was saying how he had a weird relationship with Spock for a while, and then he really embraced it. And then he was like really excited for that first J.J. Abrams movie with Chris Pine and Carl Urban. I fucking love Carl Urban. He could read a phone book and I'd listen to him. And what's her name? The green chick from Guardians of the Galaxy. She was in it too. Uhura. And then Sylar from Heroes, or as I like to call it, not X-Men. Sylar from not X-Men is Spock. But Leonard Nimoy was actually like hyped up for that first film. I think just like all of us were. We were like, what? Old Star Trek coming back? And then Spock's like gonna be in it. Holy shit. Except that started like the fucking turd version of Star Trek. It's like shit turd Trek, The only saving grace I can give, and the only way that I could see any of this shit is if I explain the the Kelvin timeline. Is that what they fucking call it? Kelvin? Doesn't Kelvin sound like some kid you want to just like thump in the forehead? Like you just want to thwack him with your middle finger? Like, fuck out of here, Kelvin. Thwack. The only way I can entertain the Kelvin universe is if I explain it as an accident of time travel. Because Spock left the future and came back to a past, he created an alternate timeline in which bullshit Trek happens. And everything that happened afterwards, so fucking Vulcan exploding, Picard turning into a turd, all that shit, fucking Mikey Spock, all of that shit happened because Spock decided to time travel. And this is actually like an interesting thing to consider, like when we start talking about Loki a little bit later. Spock met variant Spock. Spock Prime created a new universe by time travel, which caused all this turd shit to happen. And that's not Leonard Nimoy's fault. Leonard Nimoy did the movie. He was proud. I think he accomplished what he was trying to do. And in isolation at that time, I liked that first movie. I knew people who didn't,
but I like that first movie. And then Leonard Nimoy dies, and fortunately he hasn't been around to see all this fucking shit they did to his character, because I'm sure he'd probably die again. If you that shit would have killed him, and Leonard Nimoy was so protective of the Spock character. I know, like, Mikey Spock, he'd be like, this is highly illogical. This human female can't be more Vulcan than Spock. She's fully human and he is half Vulcan, but yet she out Vulcans him. And Spock had like Vulcan ADHD. He had to take Vulcan Ritalin or whatever, shave his beard because he wanted to, I don't know, he wanted to grow a beard and stare at the wall and chuckle to himself before Mikey Spock came around. Mikey Spock is what Doomcock calls her. I want to call her a him because let's face it, she's a dude. I love this shit. Tommy says, sounds like a Gene commercial line to me. The Star Trek Calvin Klein timeline collection. Totally. And Alex Kurtzman could write it, and it's going to have gender neutral Spock, the shaved beard Spock, and he's going to be wearing like a Speedo that has Kelvin on the ass side and probably the Star Trek logo over his Spock and balls. Except the logo has to be 25% different, right? Yeah. And then like Spock with a beard. I always thought Spock with a beard was evil Spock, but apparently he's Kelvin Spock. That's what happens when you give Spock an older sister, right? It's fucking shit. What up, Decepticon King in the house? Yeah, we're talking shit about J.J. Abrams again, and we're reminiscing about Spock, our good buddy. But moving right along, since we're talking about alternate timelines and turd alternate versions of things, and I don't know if I'm ready to shit all over Loki yet. There are some things about Loki that I like, but there's just as many things that just piss me off about it. So I started watching this with my woman, my lovely lady. And I think she's a little bit more sympathetic to me than I am about these things, but it's still annoying to us how entertainment is definitely into this like race swapping and diversity and this and that. Now, Loki, I think, is probably doing some of it smarter because they're using time variants. So it's not necessarily our Loki. This is a Loki who grabbed a Tesseract and dropped out of time and then went on to do weird shit with a variation of himself who is a her. We know from Norse mythology that the mythical Loki could shapeshift and sometimes appeared as women, this and that and the other thing. You guys watching Loki? Am I okay? Let's just say this. If you haven't seen Loki, I'm about to talk about Loki and shit that's happened in the newest episode. So if you don't want to see it, or if you don't give a shit, or if you do give a shit, I'm about to do it. So yeah. Loki meets a variant from a different timeline, from a different temporal reality. And in this timeline, this Loki is a female, and her name is Sylvie, which, there is a comic precedent for Sylvie. I started wondering to myself, like, okay, they're not just inventing people, they're kind of putting some spins on it. But in this latest episode, okay, I'll just focus on the image because I don't have much faith in Thomas Bacon, who writes for Screen Rant. In the latest episode, Loki and Sylvie, they're fighting over a time pad, which is like an iPad, except it controls time and not your brain. And they sit there, they have like a chummy kind of getting to know you moment, and they address the topic of Loki's apparent um bisexuality. Loki is a bisexual. Um so he admits that he dilly-dallied with like he's played with tallywhackers, which is fine. If you're gay and you like penises, I don't care. I really don't care. More power to you if that's what you do. But we found out that that's what Loki do as well. Now it's interesting how they worked that bit of trivia into the show, because and I was having a conversation with this not like 30 minutes before the show began. I was hanging out with my girlfriend and one of our other friends who incidentally is gay. And I was like, so, you're one of those demographics that Disney is targeting with this kind of thing. Do you feel like you're being represented by having this on the show? And then again, like we were talking about Little Mermaid and all that shit, and we'll talk about that later. And he was like, "No, I think it's just woke bucks. They're looking for woke bucks." And I was like, "Right on." It's good to hear that from somebody who's not fandom menace and just touting shit. And he's like, "Well, yeah, what the fuck does who they're sleeping with have to do with any of the story, right?" It's not like I don't know. Did Loki dick down a dude and like it changed him changed the universe, changed the outcome of Ragnarok, or got Thor out of trouble or something? I don't know. And again, like I don't necessarily care if Loki is bisexual, because they have had that precedent, and even in Norse mythology, or gender fluid at least. I don't know that Norse son of Odin Loki was bi. I'd have to look that up. But you know, it, too much emphasis is being placed on fictional characters and who they fuck, just for the sake of representation. And if you want to make like a super gay and my powers are super, fine. Make up a new character. But what Disney likes to do is grab characters and then make them sparkle. And that's just I and I seriously I was asking the people I was hanging out with today. I was like, why do you think they're doing that? And they're like, well, it's very simple. This is what my girlfriend says. She says they don't want to take a risk with a new property, because if they put out something nostalgic, people are going to be like, "Oh yeah, I remember that show," and then they're just going to get blasted with this new wokeness. And she also said something about social engineering, and I tell you what, like I got turned on a little bit right there, but I was in public, so I couldn't just ravish her like I wanted to. But I was just like, "Yeah, that's right. My girlfriend is smart. I love it." So yeah, that's Sylvie. And we're three episodes in, and I have to say, aside from some of this wokeness, so far the story is actually kind of cool. I enjoy thinking about time travel and alternate realities and alternate versions of yourself. And sure, what if in one universe you were a girl instead of a boy? It begs the question: would you fuck me? I'd fuck me. I'd fuck me hard. So I'll have to see. There's 3 episodes left of Loki. And yeah, we'll see what happens. And we're just gonna keep this fucking Disney train rolling. I saw this, The Little Mermaid. And I saw Friends the Reunion too, but we'll we'll get that a little bit out of the way. So her name is Halle Bailey, which I have a hard time not pronouncing it Halle Berry. So basically, Not Storm is playing Ariel. Now I don't know if Snowdub's still listening, but there was this big thing, and I think it came out on his show first, how Disney doesn't like redheads anymore at all. If there's a redhead legacy character and the franchise is being booted, that redheaded legacy character is going to become black and probably a black woman. Just fucking facts. Um, and you'll have to go bother Snowdub. Hit him up on Twitter. He did this big whole list of like 50 people. I think Rookie Critic might have been there too. I don't know, but he definitely knows where it is. This whole list of like 50 characters who were once redheaded white people and they got race swapped. Bam, black is the first go-to with that. And again, it's like, well, what the fuck? Now I'm going to sound like a hypocrite for a second because I actually like Sam Jackson playing Nick Fury. I thought it was weird the first time I saw it, but Sam Jackson's a badass, and you have to just kind of roll with him. He's the only guy that I know, like, you just want him to say motherfucker. You can't wait for him to say motherfucker. I can't think of anybody else like that. You know, he's the motherfucker guy. Like, who? My name's Sam Jackson. He'd be like, well, Sam, how do I know you? And he goes, I'm the motherfucker guy. Motherfucker? I'm like, oh, okay. You're the motherfucker guy. Right on. I'm an anteating motherfucker myself. You know, take a seat. So yeah, this girl, the live action version of Little Mermaid is currently filming, and here is how she compares to her animated counterpart so far. Here's, of course, classic Ariel and Prince. I forget his name. Prince grown up Pinocchio. I forget his name. And here's this little piece right here. Little Mermaid's ridiculous casting backlash explained. Now, Screen Rant, I don't know if you're either going to start attacking the audience for this or if you're going to, but we'll see. The Little Mermaid marked the start of the Disney Renaissance and continues to be a favorite among Disney fans, but they weren't that enthusiastic when a live action version was announced. This adaptation, directed by Rob Marshall, stars Halle Bailey, stars Not Storm. I'm going to call her Not Storm. Stars Not Storm as Ariel and began filming in January 2021. But the coronavirus pandemic has extended this process. And after having to put it on hold for a while, filming resumed in June 2021. As happens with many projects, photos and videos from the set of The Little Mermaid have already been shared, showing a first but rough look at Not Storm in full Ariel mode. The first batch photos show Not Storm and Jonah Howard King as Prince Eric. Okay, Prince Eric, that's his name. Filming the iconic scene between Ariel and Eric after she saves him from a shipwreck. The biggest difference with her animated counterpart is that she's not wearing her signature seashell bikini, instead wearing a full wetsuit. So there's Ariel in her bikini. She's ready to meet Prince Eric. She's assumed the posture. And are we going to see what the other girl was wearing? Or I have to click a link, don't I? I fucking hate clicking links in articles because I always think shit's gonna pop up that I don't want to see. Click here to see the images. Okay. I hate this. I'm probably gonna get sucked into internet hell. If I don't find these pictures within 3 clicks, I'm giving up. Click here. So this is a click 2. It's thinking about it. And see, I still don't have great internet. And it's taking me to the Daily Mail. I see Kardashians and I see Yeah, I don't see Little Mermaids. This is taking entirely too long. Okay. Oh, there we go. There we go. I don't need to see the top video, but that's what they were talking about. So there she is in a wetsuit. You can see her tail, right? You can see her tail. You can see the prints, I guess. You're not going to see whatever the fuck's trying to load because I don't give a shit about that. But yeah, so that's what we're looking at. Um, my little girl loves The Little Mermaid. I think every little girl goes through a phase where they love mermaids for a little while. They love unicorns for a little while. Um, my influence is starting to get on mine though, because she's getting into dragons and phoenixes and shit like that. So I have faith for her. But here we are. Here's a mermaid in a she has her tail, but she's still wearing what, like a Reebok bodysuit, something like that. Does Reebok make bodysuits? I don't know what the industry standard for bodysuitery is. Bodysuitery. Okay. See the chat's fucking digging this, right? Okay. I gotta back up to this. So Decepticon King says the redhead from Voltron got turned into a black gay guy. Is that for real? I would love for that to be true. I know I know the savages kind of talk shit sometimes. So if this is a joke, then it's funny. But if that's true, that's one more piece of evidence. If you're a redheaded legacy figure and then they reboot your franchise, you're getting turned into a black woman or a gay black man. That's how they roll. They're gonna ruin Under the Sea. Decepticon King's got 50 on it, right? But see, that's what's weird. So, what if they got a white guy to play the crab? Because he was clearly a black Jamaican dude, right? Like, oh, Ariel, you don't want to go out there, right? They'll get Jar Jar Binks to do it. They'll get Ahmet Best to play Sebastian the Crab. Ariel, why so you go out of the ocean? Oh, could you imagine that? Because she's trying to escape sand. Shit. Tommy says I can't help it anymore. They feel compelled to ruin shit for diversity. Taylor M says, yep, but the castle's gonna have black peen. F that movie. Tommy said, all these companies could tell amazing stories if they wanted from a host of different writers and races, but choose to rehash the same shit with swaps instead of creating new shit. My point exactly. Do you remember that show Perfect Strangers? Larry and Balky? Of course not, don't be ridiculous. Those fuckers. They're rebooting that show again. And instead of Larry and Balky, it's gonna be two sisters. They're half sisters from different misters, but same thing. Larry and Balky, they're gonna swap them out for black chicks. And yeah, it's happening. That's what they're doing because they can't think of anything new. Okay, so Decepticon King has a question. He says, if white is bad, like white robots or white people, then when you die, if you go into the white light, you're a racist. Right? Come into the white light. Oh, I ain't coming to no white light, man. Ugh. No, you'd have to go into the rainbow hued light. So fucked up. You'll probably see that. It'll be a what? Yeah, there he goes. Because you can't go into the black light. Well, no, if you go in the black light, you're gonna You're gonna see like semen stains everywhere. Yeah, we live in South Park now. We sure do, buddy. I don't know about you guys. I need a drink. Okay. So yeah, we're still gonna pound Disney in the back hole because it's not just this that's going on. This is what the entire menace has been talking about. Snow Brown. Snow Brown. The West Side Story star Rachel Zegler to lead Disney's Snow White remake. Okay. Now, Rachel Zegler, I'm sure she's a fantastic singer, a great performer, a great actress. Nothing against her personally, right? We need to make that clear occasionally in the fandom menace that we're not against any actors for taking jobs. We're not against any people who genuinely enjoy this type of entertainment. If you like it, more power to you. We're just here to point out some inconsistencies in the thought process. And it's almost as if writers are getting off on this. Like they put in these things because they know it's bound to annoy segments of their audience. But Snow White, you remember that fucking movie where mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? And it's not you, my queen. It's a woman with the blackest hair and the reddest lips and the whitest skin is the fairest of them all. And the evil queen goes, Snow White? What the fuck? And then she turns herself into an old hag and starts making Spody. Apple Spody. There we go. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? Rachel Zegler has been cast as Snow White in Disney's upcoming remake of the classic fairy tale. Zegler, who beat out Minnie for the role, is poised for a major breakout. You guys go and beat out people for roles? How many people do you think she had to beat to get that role? She's making her feature film debut as Maria in Steven Spielberg's West Side Story, which bows later in 2021 and will also appear in the superhero sequel to Shazam, which might actually be pretty good. Shortly after the casting was announced, Zegler enthusiastically tweeted, I have manifested my entire life, I think. She also shared a video on Twitter meeting the Disney princess with the caption, Homegirl, we have lots to catch up on. I don't know if both of those are going to be on there. I don't really give a shit about Target deals. And I don't want to see that ad either. Stop seeing this ad because I am not interested. Thank you. Do not show that again. Mark Webb, whose credits include 500 Days of Summer and The Amazing Spider-Man films with Andrew Garfield, is directing the movie. Production on the still untitled film is expecting to begin sometime in 2022. Rachel's extraordinary vocal abilities, geez, Target just relentless, are just the beginning of her gifts. Her strength, intelligence, and optimism will become an integral part of rediscovering the joy in this classic Disney fairy tale. Classic Disney fairy tale. Now, Disney is famous for doing this, for stealing fairy tales and then putting their own characters in and then saying that because we created the characters, it's our shit now. Snow White, I think, is one of those classic stories, and Disney's probably taking the stance that since it's our movie, we can bring it to life any way we choose to. Okay. Now, there's been a couple of other movies that have been brought to life. Aladdin was one of them. Now, here's the thing is like Aladdin was a movie about people in Baghdad, right? Iraq. So Disney went ahead and cast a bunch of Middle Eastern people, right? That's appropriate. Robin Williams was dead, so somehow they got Will Smith to do the genie. Okay. The guy that got to do Jafar, I think, was a white guy. And, so if it's okay to be a white guy if you're the bad guy. But, everything else has to be authentic. And I have to thank Shellback TJC. You guys know Shellback? He's a good guy. I've actually met him in real life. Shellback constantly makes this point. He's like, okay, if we can have Black Ariel and we can have, fucking Hispanic Snow White, right? Then when are we going to have a white Black Panther? Perfectly reasonable question. When are we going to have a white Black Panther? Okay. Tommy's saying the Brothers Grimm first published Snow White in 1812. Okay, so it is a older story. Now I don't think the dwarves had names, so Disney probably did that. But the Queen's a queen, Snow White is Snow White. Was it a hunter or a handsome prince? I think it was a hunter. Those were all present in the Grimm fairy tales, but you sort of Disneyfied it. One thing I can say though is that there was some great music in Snow White, so I see why they would want to go after a chick with pipes. But again, it's just diversity for diversity's sake. This is something else that I talk about with my girlfriend. Okay, these are European stories. European stories don't typically feature non-Europeans. If they do feature non-Europeans, they don't typically mention a strange fellow from Zimbabwe or a strange fellow from, whatever. Most foreign people that medieval fairy tales encounter, they're going to be fictitious European countries, or they're going to be mystical wee folk. They're going to be fairies, they're going to be dwarves, they're going to be trolls, they're going to be sprites or gnomes or something like that. But they don't regularly encounter like in Maleficent. Okay, did you guys see Maleficent Part 2? If you haven't, don't do it. But if you have, there is a scene where apparently Maleficent's origins are shown. And I don't think she's a demon, but she's some sort of dragon lady. And there is a place in the hollow center of the earth, conspiracy people, where lizard people, part lizard people, have been driven underground because humanity, blah, 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 blah. Except in underground lizard world, it's not just white people. There's Asian lizards and there's black lizards and there's, diverse lizards. There's probably gay lizards down there. I know some people who have gay lizards. They like to have other gay people pet their gay lizards. That's fine. But in Maleficent, so yeah, so it was a huntsman, and Sleeping Beauty did have the prince. Thank you, Tommy. Good moderating there, sir. But yeah, so it's basically just Disney doing the diversity for diversity's sake. You're gonna go. They did this in Frozen too, the sequel to Frozen, and I know all this shit because I have a little girl, and I would like to show her stuff like this. But in Frozen 2, they go to the edge of frozen country, whatever the fuck that country is, and there's black people in ancient Europe in the cold mountains of the north. Okay. Again, and it's fairy tale, and it's supposed to be, fantasy, but I don't know. I'm even trying to think if I I don't know that many white people that want to go to the cold mountains, It's, yeah. Yeah, it's just reaching for straws. Yeah. There we go. Tommy says, lizard people, why not? We have tree folk living amongst us, like Walton. Right. I think Walton and Groot are very, very close friends, don't you think? Walton and Groot. Taylor says, I thought they are green lizards. Jeez, Disney sucks. Disney race swapped dim lizards. Wait until they found out. Decepticon King. The only movie I can get my son to watch since he was 5 is Cop Out. Only movie he will sit through. He's 8. Okay. My daughter will sit through some things, but here's what she does. She plays movies as background noise, and she actually wants to play with me while there's a movie happening. She watched Star Wars. I made her do that. I had her watch Avatar: The Last Airbender. She liked that. And other than that, like she watched Little Ponies, Friendship is Magic. But yeah. Decepticon King likes the cold mountains. All right. You are 1. I will put you on the cold mountain list, sir. We got 1 for cold mountains. Anybody else? Yeah. So Disney seems fully committed to this path. You can't really go forward expecting anything else. Disney is so in this fucking direction that it's going to be unavoidable. We're going to end up telling people about how shit used to be, and they're going to be like, well, the Prince of fucking Switzerland. Not even the Prince of Switzerland. This is happening on BBC. Did you see where they did the wife of King Henry was played by a black lady not too long ago. What's her name? Anne. Shit. Anne somebody or other. King Henry's wife, Anne Henry. One of the ones that died because King Henry liked to kill his wives. Don't marry King Henry. If you ever meet a king and his name is Henry and he wants to marry you, run. Don't walk. Turn the other way around. Yeah, it's fucking bullshit. This is the kind of thing that the Fandom Menace likes to point out. And again, there is no problem with multiracial characters or characters whose sexual preferences are other than straight. What is a problem is that you are rebooting old properties and saying things like, oh, you like X-Men? Wolverine was bisexual the whole time. Yeah, he fucked both Scott and Jean, and they were all okay with it because they moved to the moon, and they have 3 ways, and they're joining Empire Strikes Back Hoth base on the moon. It's okay if Wolverine sucks dick. He's been, he's 200 years old. He was born in the frontier days of don't ask, don't tell. But he met Scott in the 60s, so it's okay. That's when women were burning bras. Jean Grey had no choice but to burn her bra because she was the Phoenix. Her bra just came off. And I'm not going to stand in the way of Jean Grey taking her bra off. But Wolverine was never gay. They actually made a character, Wolverine's son, Dakin. He was gay. Or not gay, he was bisexual. He would do both. But you already had your bisexual Claude mutant with healing factor, and then you turn around and made Wolverine bisexual because diversity. And again, it's like mistaken, his bisexuality had something to do with the plot because he was creating subterfuge and he was zoning in on a mark. You know, he was a mercenary. So that made sense. But they just decided that Wolverine, they'd like to ship him with Scott. And the only way that they can think to do that is to do that on Krakoa. And this is coming. You know, it's going to be coming. X-Men are coming to the MCU at some point. But is it our X-Men? Is it the one we grew up with? No. Probably not. It's going to be no. It's not X-Men. It's not our X-Men. No. It's going to be woke X-Men. It's going to be LGBTQ plus men. And it's not even men. You can't be an X-Man no more. It's probably like X people, or they're going to say something like Rise of the Mutants. Because they don't want to say men. Because men are evil, men are bad. White men are worse. Straight white men are the absolute worst. The only one that they'll probably, like, they were even talking about making Charles and fucking Eric probably gay, number one, but then number two to race swap them. So they wanted Charles to be played by I forget his fucking name. Lawrence Fishburne. They wanted Charles to be Lawrence Fishburne, and they wanted Magneto. I can't remember. But that's the future, ladies and gentlemen. That's what Disney is intent on doing. Anne Boleyn, thank you. Her name was Anne Boleyn, played by a black lady. Yeah, black Anne Boleyn. Yeah, that's on BBC. So BBC has no problem putting out a show on one of their channels. BBC only had 4 channels back in the day. And you had to pay BBC for a TV license so that you could watch their shit. And then they're going to show this, which I'm pretty sure it would have been illegal back in King Henry's day for interracial marriage to take place. Unless they made King Henry black. Can they do that? Or is that disrespectful? You can't make a monarch black, but you can make the monarch's wife black? I'm not sure. Right. I love this shit. So Norm Macdonald gets to play Obama in a movie. Yes, I support that. And then Denzel Washington can be Bill Clinton. Fuck yeah. See, this is the kind of thing. Yeah, and then who do you guys think the white Black Panther should be? I think Jason Statham should be the white Black Panther. That would be great. Jason Statham. Because he's a badass. He can act. He can fucking beat people's ass. You've seen him do it in 100 movies. He could pull off a Black Panther just based on acting chops, right? He has a proven track record. Why not? He's a great actor. That's exactly the same thing that they say when they race swap redheads, right? Dennis Rodman as Joe Biden. That'd be scary. I think that they should get who is that crackhead on Howard Stern? Beetlejuice. Do you remember him? Beetlejuice should play Joe Biden. They should race swap him, and then they should yeah. And then they could have Beetlejuice be Joe Biden, and then Mini-Me can play Kamala Harris. That's what I would do. So we're gonna go ahead and close this down, folks. I appreciate you hanging on. One last salute to you. Raise them high, whatever it is you are drinking. A last here's to us and what's like us. And then on the way out, I'm going to play you this song. It's been stuck in my damn head for days. This heavy fucking band called the Melvins, one of the pioneer sludge rock bands from Aberdeen, Washington. This is their new song, Caddy Daddy. They released the shit for free on Ipecac Records to get you to go out and buy their fucking shit. So check this out. I probably have to reshare it, don't I? Because I didn't select the audio. There we go. Working with God is the name of the album. The song is called Caddy Daddy. Take care. Like, share, subscribe, drop me a comment, and stay savage, you guys. We'll see you next week.
The words sound the same to me. Top-notch crime through history. I won't worry, it's not me, and you'll regret it. Some kind of God not on the way. House of death, loser. A permanent lasting power, and now it's over. The idea is all. We were out of time. It's morally superior. Be calm and quiet, live alone. I can't help but wonder why we were sorry out of time. It is forever. Don't judge what he jokes about. Hit your post is down. Booze and drugs all around, and now it's gone. The idea is all. We were out of time. It's morally superior. Screwed up socially. The tongue of God. It's morally superior. Why would I want to? I can't help it. It's morally superior. It's morally superior. It's morally superior. warrior.